Hey, Blossoming Tribe, do you find yourself afraid to step up in front of people because you fear that you're going to say the wrong thing, or you're not going to meet people's expectations, or people are not going to like you where you are, and that you don't know enough, you haven't been through enough, like you're not good enough for this society and to represent whatever community you come from. And so let's talk about that a little bit more and dig deeper into what we really need to shift in our mindset, to decolonize in our minds, so that we can actually move through our life and actually live our life the way that is meant for us to live by the divine and the creator. And I want to talk about this because I feel like this is a very, very, very important topic, and a topic that is sometimes not said but like implied. And I wanted to, you know, have this space for us to digest this and process this. So yeah, let's dig into it. You know it. All right. So in this pond of confusion here in life, as we are emerging as a community, as a society, and we are kind of reevaluating where we are as a community, as a society, and like testing the structures of the societal creations through years and centuries, and thinking about what is it, where are we right now, and how are we living our lives right now? How are our heart feeling right now? How are our spirits feeling right now as a community? And a lot of us are put in this world with no heads up, with no inkling, with so much innocence. And the way we learned about what's going on in the world is through a lot of trauma. And so I think first I want us to give ourselves a little bit of slack, a little bit of gentleness, that we were handed this without any ahead, like notice ahead of time. And so I think we need to acknowledge that, and not to be too hard on ourselves when we are doing this community work or light worker work. And I think a big part of this journey is to understand that we are is understand self-love. I think it really comes from that, because the love that we are cultivating in the world is something that we can only cultivate starting with ourselves. And I think that's what a lot of people miss when we are stepping out into the world, we are stepping onto the stage, is that what we're really bringing here, we're bringing light, we're bringing love. And when you are bringing love, that love really comes from yourself first. And so when it comes to this topic of representation in the community, and appropriation of practices and things like that, I think what many people miss is the human story. What people miss is the human behind the stories. What people miss is the character, is that we are all living these lives. We are all taking this journey of life based on what our ancestors, what people who came before us have created in this world. And we are inheriting both the blessings and the mess. And I feel like we have a say. We have a say in how we are going to address and deal with the mess or blessings that we have here in front of us. We have a say because we are the one taking the brunt of that. We are the one taking the hit. And I feel like to silence ourselves and how we are experiencing what we inherited is one of the main injustices of the world, is one of the main colonized, post-colonization oppression in the world. And I think that's something that we need to think about and really need to be aware of, that for people to have this expectation of representation of this ideal person that don't exist, of this person who's supposed to know everything, who's supposed to act a certain way, who's supposed to fit a certain box, who's supposed to look professional, who's supposed to be presentable, is yet another form of oppression, another form of labeling, another form of imprisonment, because they want us to fit a certain box, even in our own emergence, even in our own journey to freedom, our own, how do you say that, emergence to freedom. Like they even want to control our own journey to freedom, even our own version of freedom. They want to dictate to us what that looks like. So I feel like it's funny because even in light worker, work, in our community service, even the services that we do, like there is this pressure, there is this template or script that other people are like putting onto us, especially in this capitalistic context. And I feel like we need to be very, 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 very aware of that. And other people need to be very, 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 very aware of the labels and the stereotypes that we are putting onto each other in this journey for us to claim our freedom. And the way I feel in my own personal experience and just coming from my own journey, like I said, I don't claim to know everything. I don't claim to be an expert on everything. The only thing that I can say that I'm an expert on is my own life experience, my own story, my own journey, and what I learned along the way. And that is what I share with people, is the gems that I get through my journey. And that is something that no one can invalidate, because that's my story. Just like when you read a book, a story of a person, a story of a character, you can never invalidate that story, because that story is that person's real, authentic thing, that person, nothing can take away from that person. And so when I'm sharing these things in my YouTube channel, it's not to say that I am right. It's not to say that other people's versions are not right. In fact, I actually encourage people to share their own story, to share their own journey, because I actually benefit. I know that they may not know everything, but if there is anything authentic, like when it comes to this talk of representing a community, honestly, in my own opinion, when I try to learn something about a community, yeah, it's good to read the information, the facts, the history and stuff, but I am more interested in the stories of each person in that community, because that is, to me, very, very, very priceless. That's Rory wanting to come in, but he needs to wait. He's trying to get my attention so much now, which I love, but he needs to wait. So it's the gem of the stories of the people, of connecting to the humanity of the people in the place that I'm trying to get to know, is, I feel like, the best representation of that community. One story may not represent everyone, but it's just as important. And that's why I validate my own story, because even though I don't speak for everybody, my story is legitimate. My story is valid, because that's my own experience from where I grew up in, what I experienced. And I know a lot of people benefit from me sharing my story, because we have this common human bond. Honestly, we have these common themes in our lives that we can resonate with, even though they're not exactly the same. When you watch a movie, that person is not exactly you, but there's something in their story that hits you. And you cannot deny that when you feel that in your heart, in your soul. So I feel like one of the ways that we can really navigate this is to, for me, my opinion, take it or leave it, I'm not like pushing this on people, is to really connect with our story and own our story, own our life, and to really connect with our soul, how our soul is experiencing the story. You know, as long as it's coming from this deep connection, from something that is very human within you in a good way, I think the processing of that story is going to be very, very valuable for humanity in the world, because it's real, it's true, it's authentic. And I feel like if there's anything that Mother Earth wants us to express in this world, it's how she designed us, it's how she cultivated us, how she imprinted this inner natural design, inner nature. It's for us to express our inner nature. And, you know, with any creature in this planet, all they do is that they have their own journeys, they have their own experiences, they pass that on to their next generation, to their next descendants. And even if they're not able to, I think they're very good at just living their own lives and expressing their own design, expressing their own stories. And nothing, you know, if a bird, you know, if a bird comes to you, or if you see a bird, you will not even doubt that that bird doesn't represent other birds, because it's a bird. Like, nothing can take away its birdness. Now, that specific bird may have a different story, may have a different journey from all the other birds in this world, but it's not going to take away its birdness, and how being a bird somehow affects the way it experiences life. And so it may be a very, very unique bird. Not every bird is the same, but at the same time, they do represent birdness, because it's just in their being, and you cannot deny that. And so I feel like it's similar with humans, although we are not birds, but we are all very, very connected at a very, very, very deep level. And in this humanness, I feel like a lot of us miss that connection at the very, very human level. And in our conditioning to expect certain unrealistic standards, or to expect certain ways of representation, to expect certain scripts from people to fulfill, is yet another form of colonized thinking. For people to expect to fit certain boxes just to make us feel good, you know, with maybe the life scripts that we have kind of conditioned ourselves into. And so just be aware of that. And when you're stepping into the front lines and stepping into the stage, it's really about the character more than a persona. What I mean about character is your own character, your values, your principles, what is important to you, how life has molded you, and how you are relating to your own imperfections, to your own shortcomings because of your own life journey. And it's part of your story, and how you share that with people, and how you see yourself, and how you see other people, and inviting other people to see you, to really see you. And when it comes to representation in a community, there is this pressure to put on this certain persona, put on this certain presentation, to even hide even more our true selves, and to even suppress even more our true selves, and to even oppress even more ourselves by taking on this box, this label, this persona that people want us to take on, and to be invisible yet more. And obviously I'm speaking about this from experience because someone has brought this up to me in a community about me representing my community. And this is something I had to digest and think about and process, because I do have that tendency to want to, you know, be presentable too. I mean, at some level I do care about what other people say, but, you know, through this processing, you know, I'm seeing, you know, peeling out the layers, you know, especially with the decolonizing the mind and the being. Like, what does that even mean? You know, what does representation even mean? It's going to be different for different people. In my channel, I just pretty much share my own, like, unlayering of things. And the way I kind of weigh how things go for me is just with the way my life goes. Like, if my life is very enriching and joyful and colorful, and I feel really good with my soul, then I know I'm on the right track. And that's what I share with people. And I do see people blossoming as well who, you know, I share this too. And that's what keeps me going. And a lot of one of the main important intentions and values that I hold in my channel, in my work, is the importance of being seen, and to see others for what they really are and who they really are authentically, and the importance of truth. So I'm not gonna take on a persona just to make other people feel comfortable, because I'm advocating first for truth, and I'm advocating for my true self. And that means I don't know everything. That means I am not whatever this unrealistic standard is. But one thing I know for sure, I am connecting with my soul. I am connecting with my humanness. I am connecting with my story and my journey. And I am open to learning. I'm open to learning stories from people. I'm even open to learning, like, new information, new ideas. That's part of my character, my principle. And I don't claim to know everything. I'm a lifetime, like, I'm a forever student. But it doesn't mean that I'm not going to share what I learn. I also know enough to be able to help people. And Mother Earth, the Creator, has imprinted these natural gifts that I already have, that I can share with people. And that is the truth that I cannot deny. And it's the same with other people. We all have these natural gifts. And so we don't really need to wait for us to know everything, because that's really unrealistic. I think the universe didn't design the creatures to know everything. Each creature have their own role, know their own wisdom. You know, the ego doesn't know wisdom that the squirrel has, and it's okay. They're still complete. I may not know certain things, but I was designed to know something that I'm supposed to share, and that's what I'm sharing here. And I feel like really owning that, I feel like, is the best representation you can have for yourself, and the best way to show up in this world, because that is the true you. That is what the universe wants you to express. That is what the universe wants you to show, so that other people will learn from you, so that I will learn from you. What I do not know, or what I cannot do, you can do for our community. And so when we all share what we know and come together as a community, then this world is gonna flourish more than ever. But if we expect people to know everything before we allow them, before we permit them to shine, people are just gonna stay hidden, and we're not gonna benefit from anything. And this world is gonna keep drowning and going down. So let's just kind of think about that, how important this conversation is, and just kind of digest and chew that a little bit more. So yeah, it's time to represent yourself, represent your own story, represent your own natural gifts that the divine has given you, and show that to the world, and do that inner work to take off that conditioning, of the layers of conditioning that is not true, and be yourself, your real authentic self, because that's what we need right now. Own your story, own your own life script, own your own design. Now, I did do my own process of getting in touch with that truth within myself. I did a releasing process inspired by Patricia and Davis, a Diné Navajo Indigenous wisdom keeper. Obviously, I do it in my own way, my own style, and I can guide you through it so that it will fit your own path, your own journey. So if you want that, I am available for a one-on-one coaching, and the information is in the description box below. And I would love to help you get into that power, get into that truth, get into that humble power that you have as a human being that is connected to everyone, because we need your flourishing. And yes, and also I recorded actually also the way that I processed this right before this moment. I processed it, I released it, I reframed it, and I have an activity that can help you do that, and that's in my Tending Circle offering. So that's also in the description box below. It's recorded, it's self-paced, but there's also like an opportunity to join Zoom sessions with me. So far it's been very, very, very great. So I would love to have you in that space so that we can emerge together in this community. I love you, and I hope this helped, this resonated. Put in the comment box anything that you would like to say about this. Like and subscribe if it resonated. And with that, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Namaste and blessings.